Hello and welcome to Dice and Demons. I'm Emma, and in this video I want to show you how I make bases for my Soulblight Gravelords. And I might as well come right out and say this is heavily inspired by a video I saw by Dana Howell, where she made some really cool bases for the Cursed City models using some plastic card. And I thought I wanted to do something similar, but not using plastic card. And that's simply not because I didn't like the look she got, because it was awesome. But I just really don't like working with plastic card if I can avoid it. So as you can see, I am taking here some, these are plaster stones that I cast myself. I made the original stones using Milliput. I just simply sculpted some stones. It was really easy. It's just like some flattened parts of putty and then a little bit of texture on top of them, and then I just made a silicone mold myself. And I use these plaster stones, I glue them to the base using super glue, and once that's dry, very dry, I just cut them off carefully. I did cut into my finger once or twice or maybe more at doing this because I was being way too enthusiastic and thought I could just get it done quickly. It's sort of more like a process of shaving it down than actually cutting it. So be really careful if you want to do this. I'm not quite sure this is the safest way of going about it. But I mean, at least I did not cut my thumb off, which is, always something you should strive for, not cutting your thumb off while doing hobby projects. So in the end, I got the stones, or the plaster stones, shaved off pretty well, and so that they match the base. I like the look of the stones, but I thought they looked like they were just, bits glued onto a base. So it didn't look as organic as I really wanted it to, like they were just, stones that had been lying there for ages. So I grabbed some Agrellan earth and put that, supposedly between the cracks in the stone, but I eventually just got it all over the whole thing. I think you could probably do this with some sort of wall plaster or something as well, and not use the more expensive technical stuff from GW. I have just had it lying around for ages and I never really used it, so I thought, well, why not use it now? It's easy and comes right out of a pot, and I don't have to mix or do anything with it. But you could definitely use a cheaper option for this. Then once that was dry, I took a little bit of Northern oil and applied that to the recesses just to give a bit of a shadow between the stones. I want the stones to be quite light, so I thought that these shadows between the stones should be relatively dark to make sure that I had a lot of contrast. Once that was dry, well, it's not actually quite dry because I'm an impatient sort of person, but it would be better if you waited until it was dry. I used a bit of Wraithbone to paint up these stones again so that they had a nice, bright, even surface to paint on. And I tried to be careful because, as you know, it wasn't quite dry. Once that was dry, however, and this time I did wait until it was completely dry, I took 3 different contrast paints. I took Apothecary White, Gryph-Charger Grey, and Aethermatic Blue, and I sort of did a really quick wet blend on each of the stones. I wanted the stones to look sort of not quite like marble, but a sort of similar effect where it was all like bluish grey. And then I just didn't want it to have the exact same tone all across the surface, so that's why I used these 3 different colors. And I actually think it worked pretty well and was very easy to do. Though I do admit that just if I'd just gone for one single paint, then this would have been done way quicker. So this is not, the easiest way of going about making a base, that's for sure. I do recognize that. Once it was dry, and again I was very patient, I waited until it was completely dry. I dry brushed it with a bit of white, just to pick out the details on these stones. Now that I went to all the trouble of actually putting texture on stones and casting them out of plaster and stuff, I wanted to get the benefit of it, and so I decided to do a dry brush. Then I took some matte white from the Army Painter and did an edge highlight, and also tried to give it sort of a look like there was some veins or something in the stones, so that again giving it a bit of a texture to it, and also again, not going exactly for a marble kind of look, but still, you know, stones with some sort of veins. And I just really like that look. I think it looks so almost sort of ethereal or something. I don't know. I just really like that look. Once I was happy with that, I took some Achillean green, which is sort of a nice, vibrant turquoise, and I used that to add a little bit of shadow at the edge of some of the white spots on the stone. I think it really helps bring out the like the veins that are painted on the stones, and also give a little bit more saturation and a bit more contrast to the base. Then I took some glue, just completely ordinary wood glue, and put that in between the stones, because I mean I could definitely have stopped here, but I don't know. I really like bright colors, so I thought that this was a little bit too toned down. And I mean, I'm not a stylish, classic kind of person. I really like bright green flock, so I put that between the cracks in the stonework. You could just definitely not do this. I I think, but I really like it, and I'm actually fairly pleased with the way it came out, including the silly green flock. And here you can see my first first skeleton on the base, and I think this will be the color scheme I'm going for with my Soulblight Gravelords. It is a little bit darker than my usual color schemes, and I really like it, but I'm not quite sure if I think it is fun enough, or if, I don't know, because I mean, I do have the Lollipop Lizards, and they're so very, very bright that this sort of, I don't know, pales in comparison. On the other hand, I do think that a slightly darker tone perhaps fits the skeletons better than if I painted them like my lizards. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. So I would be really happy for any sort of input you might have. What do you think of the bases? What do you think of the skeleton and the color schemes? And do you think making bases like this is worth the effort? I would say that just making one base takes quite a long time, but making more bases is it makes it way easier. So it's not something that'll take you like hours upon hours for every single base, but it is definitely something that you could do way easier, let's say with a textured rolling pin or something like that. I think this looks better because I do think you can see that it's actually individual stones. But let me know in the comments if you think that that it's worth, whether or not it's worth the effort, or if this is something you should just, you know, get a textured rolling pin and then get done with it, because these are after all just bases and they don't matter that much. Or you know, do you think yeah, why not, the bases you know, an important part of the model, and so it warrants a bit of attention and time spent on it. Let me know what you think. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.